Hey everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you how to play Road Trippin' by Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is actually the very first Travis picking song that I ever learned on guitar like 20 years ago. Let's just take a look at what we're going to be learning here.
Road tripping with my two favorite allies. Fully loaded, we've got snacks and supplies. It's time to leave this town, it's time to steal away. Let's go get lost anywhere in the USA. Just a mirror for the sun. These smiling eyes are just a mirror for.
So you can see there's actually quite a few different patterns and chords. This is not the easiest song, but we're going to break it down step by step and go through everything one little bit at a time. We're going to start off with like the main riff. You know, this thing you play like 90% of the time. And for that, we need 3 chord shapes. First, we have an E minor chord, but we only need to press the 3rd fret of the thinnest string. I'm using my pinky for that. And then I'm putting my index on the 2nd fret of the D string. If we strum it, it sounds weird, but we're finger picking, so we're only going to pick certain strings, right? And we actually start with our thumb on the D string. And we're going to go like this with our thumb. It goes between those 2 strings, the D string and the low E string. You know, Travis picking involves your thumb doing like a boom, 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 boom sort of thing the whole time. We start off by plucking the D string, and then we're going to pluck the outside strings together. And I'm using my ring finger to pluck the thinnest string. And then we pluck the D string again, and then the B string with our middle finger, and then the low E string. So I would learn that in 2 halves. I would go, that's the first half, and that's simple enough. And then the second half. So we pluck the D string, B string with our middle finger, and then the E string with our thumb. Put that together. Next, we're going to go. So we pluck the D string and the thinnest string with our ring finger together, and then we hit the thickest string. And then we're going to play the B string with our middle finger. So let's just focus on that bit, going. The D string and the thinnest string together, thumb and ring, and then the thickest string, followed by the B string. 3, 4, 3, 4. And then we finish off by going. So I pluck the D string, then the thinnest string with my ring finger, and then the thickest string with my thumb. So learn it in those 4 bits, going 3, 4, and then 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and finally 1, 2. And I know it's tedious, but I promise you that's how you get something like this down. Rather than memorizing it in some crazy way, you just work on those 4 bits and you make the muscle memory happen. Because that way when you go to sing and play it at the same time, your fingers are just doing what they need to do. You don't have to think like, okay, what finger comes next? And like, you know, stress out your brain, right? We're training up your hands to do the work for you. Anyways, that bit is the, you know, half of our intro bit. And then we have a C chord, but we're playing it a little bit differently. We're putting our index finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, our ring finger on the 5th fret of the next string of the D string. We're gonna leave the G string open, and then we're gonna put our pinky on the 5th fret of the B string. And now my thumb is on the A string and the D string, alternating between those 2. And my index is on the G string, my middle's on the B string, and it goes. And this is a more normal Travis picking pattern. So we go thumb, and then our thumb goes to the D string, thumb and middle together, then back to the A string, thumb, index, thumb. Once again, we do this in 2 halves. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, over and over, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you put that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you practice that a whole bunch. And then from there, we go down to, I guess you could call this like B add flat 6 or something along those lines. It's a really strange sounding chord, right? But it's really beautiful at the same time. As far as playing it, we're doing some more pattern kind of stuff. We're going to have our thumb is still on the A and the D string. We're going to pinch our thumb and middle together, and then our thumb goes to the D string, and then index on the G string. So 3, 4, 3, 4. You do that over and over again. And then the second half is, so 1, 2, thumb on the A string, then we pluck with our middle, and then our thumb plays the D string. And I would put, once you're used to playing the B on its own a whole bunch of times, I would put C and B together. I would go. Get used to that, and then finally assemble it with the E minor chord. So I'm just going to show you the whole thing here. You can work through it slowly, and when you're ready, we'll play it together. 3, 4. And we do that like, I don't know, 18 times or something before we come across the next section, which is that these smiling eyes are just a mirror for. And for that one, we're going to need some new chord shapes. We start off on A minor 7, which is just 2 fingers. It's just an A minor chord, but without your ring finger. Going to G over B, which I play like that, with my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then my pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then I'm going to slide my pinky finger up to the 5th fret, and I'm going to make that same C chord again. And then we have G over D, which is, it's just like a D chord, but we move it up here. So D, E, F, G, just using the musical alphabet to move it up there. So let's discuss that part now. Starting off on A minor 7, and the pattern's going to be consistent now. It's not going to be crazy like it was before. That's why I did that other part first. We have our rules of Travis picking. Our thumb is alternating between the A and D string. My index is on the G string, and my middle finger is on the B string. And they're not going to move from there. And we're just going to go thumb and middle together, then thumb, index, and then thumb, middle, thumb. So let's break it down a little bit. 3, 4. 3, 4. And then the second half. And we've done that motion before, like at the end of the B chord. So our thumb is on the thickest string, then our middle plucks the B string, and our thumb plucks the D string. 1, 2. 1, 2. I want you to work it out just like we're doing here. That's why I'm breaking it down this way. Then we put that together. And you just do it over and over again until it's comfortable. Then you can add the chord switches to it. So we do it one time on A minor 7, then we go. Exact same pattern, but this time we're on G over B. Then we go into that C chord. So yeah, just get used to that. And then here the pattern changes. Once again, this is a really difficult song for finger picking, to be honest. We go on the G over D chord. So it's a D shape, my index finger and middle finger on the 7th fret. My thumb's plucking the D string and the G string. It's alternating between these two. And we're going to go. So for that one, I'm plucking my thumb and middle together, then my index, and then my thumb on the G string. That's the first half. And then the second half. So I pluck with my middle finger on the thinnest string, then I pluck the D string, then my index on the B string, and my thumb on the G string. So we work out each of those halves separately. Once again, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. You put it together. And now this section all together. 3, 4. Got to get used to going back into that first bit. You know, that's something that when I first learned it, I just learned each section by itself, and then when I went to go put the song together, I didn't have the muscle memory to actually go between the sections. So it's a good idea after this chord, just play the first couple strokes of the first bit we learned at the end of it, so you can connect them and kind of glue them together, right? So that's, once again, the bulk of the song. There's one other section, and that is the bridge. For this one, we have to break out some bar chords. We have E minor 7, then A7, then a C bar chord, and a D bar chord. So this is where it really picks up. If it wasn't hard enough already, you know, now we have our E minor 7, which is just like our minor shape. Like if you know the B minor chord, I'm going to assume you do because, you know, this is more of an intermediate lesson. If not, bar chords made easy. I have a course that totally gets you into the point where like bar chords are easy. That's why I named the course Bar Chords Made Easy. And as we take that up till our index finger's on the 7th fret, that's an E minor chord. Then we take our pinky off, we get E minor 7, which is like this great like soulful shape. And here we're gonna do the same pattern that we were doing on these chords, on A minor 7 and C. We're just gonna do it here. We just do it once, then we go to an A7 chord, which is the exact same shape, but we've moved it up and then to the left 2 times. So 5, 7, 5, 6, 5, 5. And our fingers are going to stay where they're at, but our thumb is going to move to the thickest string and go between these two. So it's pretty much the same pattern, except our thumb's hitting the thickest string instead of the A string. So we go. See, it's the same thing. Then we go to a C bar chord, same pattern, and our thumb is back to the A string. And then we go up 2 frets to a D bar chord. So we do it once like that. And then we repeat it, but with a different ending. We go E minor, A7, C, and then we play an F sharp diminished chord. Same pattern, but we're up on the top 4 strings. To make the chord shape, our index finger's on the 4th fret of the D string. Our ring finger goes, basically we play a D chord right there. That's what that reminds me of, right? So I'm playing like a D chord, but it's over there with my index on the 4th fret of the D string instead. And then I put my pinky on the 5th fret of the thinnest string. So it's from the D string, 4, 5, 4, 5. Same pattern, but now my thumb has to move to being on the D and G strings. So with our whole progression, and that's the gist of it. You know, you'll see it right there. Then we play that again. And here it's once again a little bit different. So we do this really sweet diminished trick that that was the first time I was exposed to it. You can take this chord, that diminished chord, and you move it up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, and it's the same chord. It has all the same notes because it's what's known as a symmetrical chord shape. Then you move it up another 3. So he's just going up and down 3 frets at a time. And when you're doing stuff like this, you want to track just one finger. So I'm tracking my index finger. It's on the 4th fret, and I just think, okay, 4, 7, 10, 7, 4, 1. You know, so that's it. That's all you got to think about. Don't worry about where the rest of your fingers are. And you just kind of move it up and down over and over again, just to get used to, you know, moving your hand in that way. This is like Little Rocky and Bullwinkle, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's that kind of sound that they used to use in like old school suspense kind of things. Anyways, as far as the picking is concerned, we start going. So that's how it starts, by picking our thumb and middle together. And then our thumb is going to stick on the D string, thumb, index, and then thumb and our middle and index at the same time. So together, index, and then like that. You just do that over and over again. And then we're going to go move our shape up 3 frets, and thumb and then our fingers together. So our thumb and then our index and middle together. So. And now whenever we move, we're always going to go thumb, index, and thumb, fingers. Like that. So. So for all that, once we start moving around, we're going to go 4, 7, 4, 7, 10, 7, 4, 1. And I'm just going to write the numbers up just like that, you know, and that's the best way to track it, like in your brain, right? Rather than, you know, when you look at the tab for something like this, it's like so much stuff, but we can think about it in a simpler way, just like that, you know, just where are we moving the shape to? And every time we move it, we just go thumb, fingers, right? So that, just the moving part. And then we can add that finger picking before it. And then it's back into that stuff. So at this point, I'm going to play through the entire bridge just so you can see how this all goes together. It's definitely the trickiest part of this tune. Always want to play a little bit into the next section just so we can kind of glue it together. Now the only part that's left is at the very end. I'm just going to flip to my notes here to the last page. It ends with this a few times. You know, like a couple extra times, and then it goes. And that's just using our first chord shape. We just play with our thumb on the D string, and then the thinnest string with our ring finger, back to our thumb, and then our middle. And it just bounces between those two, and they kind of like slow down, and the song just kind of winds down. So it goes. Then eyes are just a mirror for. It just jumps into that like that. Now that is obviously a ton of stuff to learn, but that's why we broke it down the way we did. You know, I taught you how to work through each part, so I really want you to do it that way, to take your time with everything. If you want to play through the entire song start to finish, I have that on my Patreon page. I'll put a link to that down below where you can play along with me through the entire tune start to finish. If you need any extra help with any of the stuff going on in this tune, like for bar chords, finger picking, any of that stuff, I have a bunch of courses. I'm going to put a link down below. I have bar chords made easy, Fingerstyle, beginner to advanced, you know, a bunch of stuff designed to help you reach your goals on guitar in a really simple, straightforward way. Learn songs you want to learn, like this one, And if you have any questions, please ask in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy learning guitar with me. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.